Hey Tracy, how are you?
Hi, good morning, Ramona. I'm doing great.
I'm
How are you?
so grateful that you carved out a little bit of time to hop in here and chat with me. In addition to your session you had with me earlier this week, we're getting a little bit of extra love in today. Um, so you know, I would really love to start off with introducing yourself, sharing a little bit about what got you to me. What problems, challenges were you facing, and what were you hoping to get out of working with me as a mindful energy coach with you? And yeah, let's just start there. Let's start with the story that got you here.
And it's such a good story too, Ramona. Gosh, I want to say that I think we've been working together for, I think a decade, I think
Yeah.
10 years now. And I know that we met through a mutual friend. And I want to say that I first got to experience just you at a yoga studio, a little bit of energy work. I had just gone through divorce, and I want to say that we really kicked in our sessions together and really started leveraging you when I lost my job. I was facing a lot of uncertainty and a lot of high anxiety. And in previous roles and times in my life when I've experienced those types of things, a job loss, and the anxiety would well up, I would usually try something new to try and get a handle on that. And with you, it just seemed very natural for me to start working with you from an energy perspective, and then that rolled into um, coaching and just really looking at this not just from the spiritual side, but also trying to integrate that into me figuring out what I wanted to do with my life and how to get from A to B.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a journey, Ramona. Definitely a journey.
I remember. So
Yes.
yeah, our and funny enough, our kids were in the same elementary school, and we never really crossed paths there, even though they were in the same grade level. And so it wasn't until they were either right about to leave that educational system, or they were already into middle school before we came together. But yeah, I think you came to a sound healing with her. And that was where it began.
It
A
is
little bit of energy
magical.
work. Yeah. So, during your time of coaching, what did you learn or found most valuable through the mindfulness energy coaching?
I would have to say, and I will say it's kind of a that's a to pin it down to one thing, but I would probably say the most valuable thing is just really for me was learning to develop a daily habit of how to proactively manage those things. I mean, in everyday life, we're always going to be thrown curveballs and things that kind of set us off the track. And for me, I'd never really figured out how to integrate all these different things that I had. And when I say different things I had personal interest in that maybe were helping me over the long period of my life. But you brought some structure to it for me. And I think I really know that because we stayed consistent and really just rode the wave I mean, because we've been working together for so long, um, it really was pulling all those pieces together and really I guess I can call them tools.
Mhm.
You really helped me see um what I could be doing on a daily, and by doing that, and of course no one's perfect. I think by this consistency it has shown me how to go from maybe what was 10 years ago me coming to you thinking that you're going to help solve my problems. In reality, I'm solving my own problems, just really leveraging the program that you've developed, but then pulling in those other modalities and those things that I was already doing a little bit and making it more consistent. So I feel like I've learned how to really do this myself, and then I'm really coming to you for those fine tuning pieces, and we've been able to, in my opinion, over the last decade, we've really been able to take what was symptoms of problems and challenges, like manifesting with anxiety or feeling stuck in being able to make decisions and not moving forward, to now looking at how I'm setting goals for myself. And it's funny because this all started not necessarily as a professional thing. It really started off in my heart being more about, ooh, I want to integrate this energy work because it feels good, to now where we are. And what I've learned is inter you've now become invaluable to my professional life, because
Mm.
it's really taken that and it's integrated into how am I dealing with executives, and I'm in sales, so it's very high pressure, and I'm leveraging all of those things that I have inside of me, the empathy and the healing that I've been doing with myself, to then it helps me professionally now, because I can really relate to people in an unspoken way that I never realized I could.
I
And that's
love
all
that.
the
I
work that
love
we've done
that so much.
together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I love that you brought in the subject of consistency, because that to me is the game changer, right? So with mindfulness, we're working to rewire the brain essentially. Like we don't want to be operating on the same neural pathways that lead us down to anxiety and stress and burnout and perfectionism and imposter syndrome. We want to be creating pathways of abundance and clarity and pause and being able to kind of shift down versus shifting up whenever things feel tense. Like, how can we go introspective instead of yang, kind of running after something, right? And
Right.
so with consistency, what you're doing is you're creating that new neural pathway of, this is how I'm going to deal with this kind of a stressor moving forward. And that doesn't happen by osmosis. That happens through practice. And that's why consistency is important. So the more that you show up and do whatever the tool is, and that is how I categorize everything that I teach, is it's a tool. And the only way that it becomes something that you're living is by using it. So I really love that you brought that into the conversation, because that truly is the key to success, is consistency. So tell me about a success that you've celebrated or were able to achieve through our coaching together. And I know there are several, but there's a most recent one that I'm like, this is it, man.
I think
This
it
is
is.
everything
Yeah.
you've been working for.
I know. Yeah, no, I love that you brought that up. And of course, I know everyone defines successes, differently. And I think in the lens of the most, I guess we'll call it the most recent success is, for me, it's I define success, or at least at this point in my life, by having a meaningful job and being challenged and thinking and dreaming bigger than I was before. I think 10 years ago me was maybe more in that survival mode, in a sense. Even if it didn't look like that on the exterior, interior, inside Tracey, totally like just hanging on to every little thing, always thinking in the lack of mindset, not in an abundance. So when I defined success in the latest one that we are going to talk about, because it does, oh, it gives me chills. I had been, in the last couple of years, I've gone through some serious loss, tragedy, sad losses of loved ones. We all go through that, and professionally was in a position that, while I was very grateful for the role, it wasn't serving me, but yet, so while being grateful for that job, I really didn't know what I wanted. And through our work, and I feel like we always talk, or I've always talked about how I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting that, and I want abundance. And the truth is, I think we all do. But what the game changer for me was, I actually did it leveraging it took time. It wasn't like an overnight thing. It took a good 8 months for me to go from, a job. Again, it was a great job, but wasn't serving me, to then figure out and visualize leveraging the tools, being consistent, to be able to manifest what it was that I wanted, what Tracey wanted for the next phase of her career. And of course, it didn't have a name. It didn't necessarily have, I didn't know what that was. Um, However, I got to watch that unfold right before my eyes. And, here I am now. I'm 8 months into what I consider my dream job. I'm absolutely uncomfortable every day because I'm in growth mode, which is great. But that is probably the biggest success because of the fact that, again, I think, when we met, Ramona, that was one of my themes. I was, divorced. I had two kids, raising my kids, and I, didn't have a job. That was, of course, a long time ago. And to hear where I'm now, where I am in current state, is I feel the abundance. And while I know things change on a daily, it absolutely, it is a success story. And now that I've experienced what it means to manifest something, and all the different tools that it took for me to get there, and that consistency of always showing up for myself, I feel so much more confident. And that anxiety is something I can manage so much easier because of those tools, and because I can see what happens when I apply these things on a daily. I mean, of course, maybe you miss a beat here and there, week to week or month, day to day, but at the end of it all, you got to just keep coming back to what is it you need to do to feed yourself, and to take that idea, and don't be afraid to dream big, to pull it into a reality. So
Yeah.
that, to me, it relates to, I know dream job, but I'm at a position right now where I know that, my income is unlimited if I so choose to apply myself. I recognize that, again, I'm uncomfortable, which sometimes people don't want to be uncomfortable, but I'm now prepared to be that
Mhm.
way. I'm prepared to be uncomfortable while I keep growing and being challenged.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the biggest significant thing. But I would say that foundation has set the tone for the rest of, my existence. I feel like my friendship circle is stronger. I feel I've learned to build better boundaries, for myself, to support the things that I want in life. And I think another side advantage, Ramona, and we've talked a little bit about this, has been my journey with, losing weight, and is really, again, taking care of me.
Mhm.
Taking care of me is I guess really that's part of the theme. You've
Yeah.
helped me with the tools do that. And then
Yeah.
we can just kind of focus in on different areas in my life as needed.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. I love it. And
And
again,
it's been
consistency
exciting.
is the key. You keep bringing yourself back to that theme, and I think that's really important that that's highlighted, is that consistency of connecting to the practices and the tools, that's what's helped you get there. And I love that you brought in your manifesting power, because truly, when I first started Authentic Life Journey, that was the tagline: dream bigger than you think you can. And so that you are emulating my initial dream for my company. And I'm in a growth trend right now as well. And so I am applying my own teachings to my life of, okay, it's dreaming. I'm dreaming bigger than I think I can right now. And it's about that alignment, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, whatever words you like to use there. But the reality is that we are a whole being. And if one part of that body, mental body, emotional body, physical body, spiritual body, one part of that body is not in alignment and believing in the outcome, it causes dis-ease, right? And so then you have to adjust, and you have to adjust, and you have to adjust. And so that's why it's not like I have this dream, I wake up tomorrow and it's manifest. It's doing the work
Right.
to align yourself, to attract, to become the magnet and attract everything to you that matches that vision. And so frequency, which is a huge, huge, huge piece of what I teach, is so important. So like, as you go along, yeah, you're gonna have bumps in the road. That's normal, but it means that you get to dial in that frequency. So imagine like when we used to listen to radios, right? And you'd have to turn the dial to get it to just the right frequency so you could hear the radio station you wanted. Like, this is exactly it. That's a physical experience that we've had that we can reflect back on and be like, okay, yeah, so that's what I'm doing with myself. I'm tuning myself in to the frequency that's playing my heart song, that's playing the music of my soul, and then I'm receiving that frequency back. So I love that you have shared that. So let me hear, why was coaching a great decision for you?
Well, I think that well, come on now. I was going to say it's at my the where I'm at now it is part of, I guess, part of the reason, why, because I am in a much more peaceful state. But you definitely mentioned frequency. I think that for me, it really just it helped me get in touch with who I am, and it really helped me unlock what I want out of my life, and created a space for me. It's, some people go to a therapist, some people go to the gym. I mean, or it's just church or whatever. I tend to like to pick from lots of different areas in my life, which I guess we all do. But Ramona, I would say you're a foundational piece to my foundation on staying grounded, and just really back to the consistency, but staying consistent and dedicated to myself. I have found that I've been able to leverage all the tools that you've brought to the table in your coaching program, and then of course, you know, energy work is a part of it. But as you know, I've chosen to also integrate more of that into our practice, because it really does something for me physically, spiritually, emotionally, and it's allowed me that space. So I guess for me, it's just an investment in myself,
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing that I'm open-minded to, I've stayed open-minded, and I still, obviously leverage other modalities, but this has been the most critical piece to my development and journey, because you're accessible, because like you were saying yourself, like I'm watching you on your journey, we help each other. And I think that that's another piece to this puzzle. Sometimes we think that when we're going to a coach, or a doctor, or someone who's got some great wisdom for us, or a way or a path to get from A to B, sometimes we look at, well, that person's going to take me there. And in reality, as you've always reminded me, that it's me doing the work, you're helping me, we help each other. It's just, but someone has to lead, someone has to sort of set the tone. And I feel like that has been that has been a key differentiator, Ramona, between our work together versus maybe other great things I've tried in the past. But this one has been the most obviously been the most consistent, and I really do think it has to do with the exchange,
Yeah.
and just the way you are, your ways of connecting with your clients. And again, we are all connected,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
it just brings me back for more.
And I'm
Hard to
grateful.
argue with results that result in peace and love, and again, when we want to look outside externally to our world professionally, and just helping each other be better,
Yeah.
and having a pathway to get there.
I, I I love all of that. You brought up grounded. And so I feel like that to me is, whew, that is like the number one thing that I see in anyone that shows up, is this sense of not feeling grounded. So can you talk a little bit about what grounded means to you as a professional, and how you were able to understand that in your whole life? Because some of the concepts that I share are, they're foreign to someone who isn't in my world. And so that is one of the ones that one of my other clients was like, we really got to find a way to bring that particular part of the equation up front. And you've been talking about it the whole time, through the consistency, through the using the tools. But being grounded is about being present, right? It's about really being with yourself. So I want to hear a
Yes.
little bit more about grounded it for you, and how that has helped transform your experience.
Um, I think, well, when I say that I feel grounded or I'm working towards that, I think I know that it really relates to, as you were suggesting before, being present, being in the moment with the people that I need to interact with on a day to day, whether that's, when I'm working or with my children or my significant other. Those that is a part of it. Being grounded is having confidence, excuse me, having confidence in in my ability to convey how I feel, be able to ask for what I need, and to do that authentically, like really feel that confidence in who I am and where I want to go, and then building the community around me that supports that. And that has taken a very long time to be able to say this now, with you, that I do feel grounded. And again, part of this is because there is consistency.
Mhm.
It is evolving, because as I experience newer successes, there are clearly newer responsibilities. There's newer challenges and expectations of others and of
Mhm.
myself. So I think that grounding also means having a place to come back that's the center for me
Yeah.
to and maybe, Ramona, your program has helped just me build my own. Whereas there's other places I'm going to get that, but having it integrated, this integrates into everything. I've been able to take everything we've learned and I bring it with me to the most challenging executive meetings I'm having. I bring it to church, in my prayer, in my, when I'm exercising. It's just integrated. And I think that's the best part of it, Ramona, is that you have just allowed me to take all these different disparate things that aren't really separate, but they've all been able to come together within me. And the output is someone who is much happier. I think I'm attracting better situations because I am projecting internally. My internal matches my external. I'm no longer, and I'm sure before we
Yeah.
close, we can touch upon the imposter syndrome, because I still deal with imposter syndrome. I just now have a way to deal with it and control it and put it over there, because it isn't really me.
Mhm.
I'm
Well, and
I'm
it's not even
I'm
about controlling it. It's about allowing it to be seen,
Yes, and not being
right?
afraid of it. It's
Hmm.
okay. It's there. I know how to move around it so that it's not consuming me, and so that it's not, again, we're back to, I'm grounded, I'm safe, I'm comfortable, I'm confident. I'm now able to lead. Whereas before, I'm not really sure that I was in a point emotionally, professionally, where I felt like I could even dare to think that maybe I could lead others. And I'm not necessarily saying in the sense of a title, but as a contributor on a team,
Yeah.
I feel like I am able to lead, where before I wasn't comfortable enough in who I was and where I was going. So those all things are, they sound like they're little, but in reality, they've just grown into being big pieces of who I am now. And it shows in everything I'm doing. My
Yeah,
actions, how I,
integration. Like that's the final key, right? Is
yeah.
integrating, living it, living what you're learning. So yeah,
Oh
this
yeah.
is amazing. Yeah, yeah.
And that would probably be the biggest thing I've learned, is that, starting small is not bad. It's starting. It's getting started on something and staying consistent with it, and being open to the path that is going to be, that's going to unravel for you, or be shown. And I've said yes when those paths has presented themselves, and that I in return, I sort of say that I'm investing in myself.
Yeah.
This is an investment in me. And as I invest in myself, I am better equipped to be there for the people that love me, that I love. And again, that integrated, I feel more authentic with who I am. Again, it's growth and it's a journey. And I'm so grateful, Ramona, that our
Yeah.
paths crossed and we have continued to consistently work together. It's been a game changer. I feel like a lot more optimistic with where I'm headed. And that's saying a lot because we certainly live in uncertain times, and it just means a lot to know that my center, I know what it is.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
incredible.
share one piece of advice or wisdom you want to share for someone who is thinking about coaching with me.
I guess I would say don't hesitate. I mean, don't don't put off something that you can do now, because it's a journey. It's not a um one size fits all either. It's that's part of the probably the attraction and the recommendation I would have for anyone that might be listening to this, that you have a way of working with people, but the sooner you say yes, I think that the sooner you can really start to dig into what's important to you and where you want to go. um and you've been flexible with me. I mean, there have been times where I have to travel a lot, or things change. So I don't know, I think our relationship, it's just been very natural, and what started off every month has turned into, it's some years it's been every week, sometimes it's every other. But I think it's just about starting something, and not being afraid to discover and explore something that tweaks your interest, which you and I connected, and I thought a lot of the things that you had to say resonated with me. And I'm just glad I keep saying yes, because again, I'm saying yes to me. That's
Yeah,
been my
I love
advice. If you
that.
just say yes and do it, because really it's the start of something.
Yeah,
Take that
wonderful.
wherever you want to take it. Really, it's your journey.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you. Well, I am, as always, grateful to be of service and support, and I like to close everything with the same closure. So just gonna leave you here with the light in me loves, honors, and cherishes the light in you. When you are in that place in you, and I'm in that place in me, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.